Misfits Boxing is confirmed and announced. X Series 005. We are taking over Telford. Jay Swingler is back to headline another card against Nick LMAO, and there is drama, action, and entertainment soaked throughout a storyline-filled card. Joining me, Mams Taylor, the man behind it all. Mams, good afternoon. How you doing?
The Telford takeover. We're ready for it. We're ready for it. I'm knackered. I've just been on the move nonstop. As you know, you were the first person I think I called when I got this match done and added. So then after you and I spoke, I just had to go through some logistics, speak to them, make sure everyone's on board. It took a while because different time zones. So I stayed up till 4. And yeah, so it's actually one of those rare occasions. I'm not wearing my sunglasses to be cool. I'm wearing them because I can't open my eyes.
Well, you look cool anyway. So I mean,
Thank you.
let's pull them off. But I want to talk to you about that call, that message when it came through last night. Pineda, the man does it again. He is box office entertainment. This man is a living legend. Tell me Misfits don't make stars when you've got Luis Pineda right there.
Luis La Bomba Pineda is going to be pay-per-view Pineda one day. And he's on his way, isn't he? I mean, he's really excited about this. Dave's they're all excited. This is us making history, introducing something new, exciting. And, it's just, that's what Misfits is all about. Innovations and taking chances and bringing fans thrills and all the stuff that they crave, even if they don't know they do.
It is an idea that has been rumbling around the walls of Misfits within the Misfits castle for a little while now. Should I say the Misfits Ranch, maybe? This tag team, how easy or hard was it to get it over the line from concept from the suggestion to announcing the actual fight? Just talk to us a little bit about the route to get from A to B.
Safety is always a concern for everything. So obviously some rules and things like that. Had to speak to lawyers, had to speak to the PBA, really gracious, had to speak to insurance, and also put safeguards in place. As you guys know, Misfits Boxing take more extreme measures for safety than most professional organizations. We have more stringent testing, make sure everyone is in good health. We're introducing even more stuff because look, you never want to say a boxing match is safe because that's a lie. It's not a safe place to be, but it's the safest considering this is a sport. This is something people do, and we make it as safe as possible, and we want to make it even safer than the standards that people hold today outside of our organization. So and obviously we are a target to, from other organizations who are seeing our gigantic success in such a short time. We're a target. People want to say, oh, this is a circus. They're not safe. But we actually go to more extreme lengths to make sure we're as safe as can be in a boxing environment.
Well, we have to. We have to, like you say, with the target on the back. But it's great to hear that is over the line. I'm looking through the rest of the card. I want to start at the top because we've got a little bit of a UK versus USA sort of bit of action going on up there. You've got obviously Jay Swingler, Nick LMAO at the top, but then return of Dean the Great and Pulley. You've got King Kenny and Ash Raksu. Okay, that's UK and UK, but at the top there you've got UK and USA. This is narrative soaked.
I never ever make matches thinking of it like that. Some people say like you should do UK versus USA. Maybe we'll do that at some point, but honestly, I think it's been done to death where you purposely do that.
Yeah,
There's just whatever match makes sense at the time, what you can do, who's available to fight, who wants to fight each other, all those other elements, you put it together and you just try and make the best matches. Now, Pulley Arif, seen him training, tough lad. Isn't as known as he's going to be after this fight, but he's a tough guy. I think Dean's got a nice challenge ahead of him as always. He steps up, and I don't know if you guys saw the footage of Nick fighting, sparring with Jarvis, and yes, Jay Swingler is the favorite, but I think that Nick's going to give him a bit of a hard time. You know, he's a tough kid, and that was just him starting training. So he's been training for a while since then, and I think it's going to be a tougher challenge than people think.
Let's speak about Dean for a moment before we come to Jay. Then Dean, he wants to own that weight space, if you like. He wants to make that his area. He overcame probably the toughest test to date in his last fight. One of the toughest he's going to have in Waleed, and who knows, maybe one day we see a rematch. I'm sure there won't be too many complaining at that. I spoke with Pulley this morning about this fight, and he said, look, Dean, very, very good fighter, very well established in this space. But the thing that makes him exciting is his come forward style. Yes, he throws a lot, he throws with intent, but it also leaves him open and exposed. And that's where I'm looking to get the upset. And that's what could happen in that fight, Dean versus Pulley-Arif.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I think even from KSI versus Temper, right? When you have and these kids, they have great coaches at this point, high level. You know, some of the best coaches in the world are coaching some of these guys. London Shoot Fighters put forth a strategy for KSI, for a southpaw, for Temper in particular, made some adjustments when Dylan Dennis was replaced. When you have strategies and it comes to fruition, I think that must be the most satisfying feeling in the world for the boxer. You know, it's like we've drilled this particular move over and over again. And from what I've been told, Pulley's done the same thing and done some drills specifically geared towards a knockout victory against Dean. Dean's got something to say about that too, because he's got an amazing team, and he's a strategist too. So listen, it's going to be a fine battle.
Do you expect fireworks through the week, given that Waleed Sharks and Dean the Great are on the same card, and those two, make no mistake, those two hate each other?
I'm going to ask them if they want to do guest commentary on each other's fights. I mean, it would be before Dean's fight and after Waleed's fight for Waleed. So it's not a conventional thing to do. I don't think it's ever been done before, but I'm going to give them the invitation to do that and see if they're interested.
I think you'd have to have a big security guard in the middle, in between the ringside and the commentary position for that fight. But listen, we'd all want to see it.
You can handle it. You can handle it, Chris.
Try my best, mate. I've been working out. I don't know if you can tell. I've been working out.
People don't know this about you. But when Tom Zanetti's opponent pulled out the first ever Misfits 2, right? The Zanetti first fight with Misfits. You came to me and said, bro, you know, I box a little bit. If you need me, I'll step in. And I always respected that. You really would have as well. You against Zanetti. Zanetti's a tough boy as well.
The show had to go on, did it not? I mean, after seeing Tom Zanetti against Slim the other week, maybe I wouldn't have been here to do this interview now. I don't know, but we would have seen it. And yeah, if that step-in's ever needed, you've got my number. Let's talk a little bit for a moment about Jay Swingler and Nick LMAO. Those two guys did the digital face-off yesterday. Didn't take long for them to get into it, into a back and forth. Jay wants to be spoken about in the same breath of these guys who are at the top table at the moment, the Salt Pappies, the Slims. You know, he wants to be there. He knows he's got to get there. He's not there yet. He sees Nick as a step towards that goal. Nick wants to take it all off him. Nick wants to crash that party. And he says, you're in for a surprise. I'm not this pushover that you think I am. That's a great bit of matchmaking.
It's a balance, right? Because people were complaining at first. I think now that they've seen the footage of him sparring early on, you can see he's got a natural knack for understanding the ring, understanding a little bit of combat positioning, and it's going to be more exciting than people initially thought. Now, Jay said to me, I want 2 warm-up fights. And Nick might be a warm-up fight for him, but it also is a tougher warm-up fight than his first one, a lot tougher, to the extent that I think that if Nick's Nick's confidence and if he's progressed as quickly as he had that was with 1 week's training, 2 weeks training, he was sparring Jarvis. So if he's progressed at that pace, he might not be a warm-up fight after all, you know. So I think it's going to be an interesting test. You never know how these things go, but I mean, it would certainly be an upset. And Jay, on the other hand, really committed to this space, and he really does want to be one of the top guys. So he'll have something to say about that too, and he'll do everything he can to make it look as easy and smooth as possible.
Oh, exactly. Well, that's why I call it great matchmaking, because there is a clear favourite, as there is in a lot of fights, 75-80% of fights across any promotional outlet. You can usually say this guy's the favourite. However, if it's an absolute steamroller session, then maybe it's not great. But Nick looks absolutely the part. Speaking of looking the part, and speaking of wanting to be at that top table, King Kenny versus Raksu. Now, earlier this week, maybe last week, we put the graphic out on Misfits socials to say who gets that light heavyweight title now Slim has moved back down to his more natural weight. This fight is not for that Misfits title. However, if Kenny wants to be in that discussion, he has to get past Ash Raksu.
Absolutely. I think, again, another guy, Ash Raksu, I'm friends with his coach. I've known Ash since his first fight. Lovely guy. Luke, and they're working really hard. And again, when you're on the phone to these guys and they send you some footage and stuff like that, you're like, there's a chance. There's a good chance. You never know. But at the same time, Kenny is also improving with every fight, you know, and his confidence. Confidence is a massive thing in the ring. And these guys, when you fight with confidence, you've prepared. You've done the preparation. You've done all the hard work. You've done all the rounds in sparring, tough sparring. You know, that's when you get to the ring and you display all your hard work comes to view. So it's really difficult. It's easy for people who are outsiders who haven't been privy to some of the stuff that we're privy to in terms of watching them practice, watching them spar. To have a clear favorite. But for me, it's always hard because you see the will that these guys have and the confidence and the work. So it's not as clear cut as you think. I don't know, but either one of those guys win, that puts them right into the title contention for the vacant title. You're absolutely right, Chris.
Ash, he was very confident before Anthony Taylor. He openly accepted Anthony Taylor's more experienced. He's got a lot that I've not seen before. But that was 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Since that, if you imagine him sitting there thinking, I let myself down a little bit. Now, I'm not saying he does think that, but he was dropped very early on. He did well to carry on and get there. But I'm sure he would not have wanted to be dropped that early on into the fight. What was it, 10 seconds in or something? If that's been motivating him for 4 months, just going over and over and over and over again, I'm not letting that happen again. That's not happening again. He's got a little bit to overspill there. Kenny, absolutely 100%, do not look past this guy.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure he's not. And, he's got Daly in his corner, two great coaches, and I'm sure they both have good strategies. Let's see. But, yes, he was very confident. But back then, I think none of us knew Anthony Taylor was quite as good as he is now. And I think also him adapting a style, doing some more, putting the hard work in, he's improved. What a mistake some people make is they think, oh, let me fight these guys who are less experienced than me and I can just chill and take it easy. That's never going to work out too well, especially when the other side is grinding and grafting and doing 2-a-days for weeks on end, Yeah,
100. Speaking of Anthony Taylor, one fight that I saw sort of touted the other day, Tom Zanetti versus Anthony Taylor. What a fight that'd be. But one step at a time, I guess.
You know what? That's one I've never thought of. We'll see. Anthony Taylor and Salt Puppy are both in a weird sort of gray area space. Because as you know, we're putting a pro division together now with a pro tournament for the first ever Misfits pro champion.
Can you tell us a little bit about that now? Are we allowed? Can we go into that now? Can you tell us a bit about it?
The formatting is kind of a secret because I don't want to take away from the shine of what's coming now. but it's gonna be it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild, and the guys that are gonna be participating, yeah, big names, big prize. Not just the title. The title itself is going to be a big prize, but they're going to win a big cash prize in the ring as well. The champ, whoever that may be. Anyway, that's it. It's an exciting one to look forward to.
Well done on putting the brakes on. I know it's an exciting thing to speak about, but I think you
I
handled
get carried away, man. Honestly, if you get me excited, I'll just keep talking about it.
Just finally, a quick look at the other fights. One that I really don't want to glance over is the ladies on the card. That's where AJ Bunker. AJ, I speak to her quite a lot. She is so ready. Given the disappointment of last time, she's then gone out and got a win. Astrid, she's saying that she's been vocal on social media. Astrid made me wait. I'm going to make her pay. Blah blah blah. These are two that are ready to go for this. They've both got aspirations of fighting whoever next, and obviously Elbrook, I'm sure, will be watching this with a keen eye. But that's a fight that the ladies are getting better. They are improving, and they're entertaining. And that fight there, where AJ Bunker.
People might make a joke, right, about the value of being a Misfits title holder and a champion because we've not been around as long as a lot of organizations. But fast forward to 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and think about how the UFC started and how any organization started, okay? And the credibility that builds up over time. So imagine being the first Misfits women's champion. You know, yes, there are other weight categories. There's definitely going to be more champions in other categories, but this title is up for grabs. You'll be a part of history. And if I have anything to do with it, and you as well, sir, we're going to be around for a long time and we're going to keep building. So being a part of history like this, it's legacy. And I think both of them, I know for a fact, they're both training very, very hard, you know, and it's going to be an exciting one. I think Astrid has shown a lot of improvement in her sparring and in her training since her last fight. And her last fight, she was the aggressor, but I don't think she was tested as much. I think Andrea's going to be much more of a test for her. And yes, Andrea had another fight. She showcased that she's made some big improvements since her fight with Elle. So look, I think it's a competitive fight and it should be a lot of fun.
Ham and Ginty. We did the face-off again yesterday, and I said this to them. I was expecting, with no shade to these guys, I was expecting a face-off similar to kind of Salt Pappy and Josh Bruckner, where very respectable, not really a lot of shade thrown. Two nice guys. All right, Ham likes to prod a little bit.
Have a haircut.
Have a haircut. He tried to do it. This is a glimpse behind the curtain. He asked me if he could do the digital face-off on his phone live from a Manchester City game that he was going watching. I said, no, we can't do that. But it took 10 seconds for them to start shouting at each other. And instantly, that fight is going to be one of the first fights on the card. But these guys, there's history there, there's storyline, because Ham is good friends with Joel, JMX, who Ginty fought last time. He's saying he's going to get him back for knocking Joel down. Ginty's saying he only had 2 weeks. He's going to do this. He's going to do this. We've seen over and over again from Misfits. First fight of the night, albeit this is the second one because of the Waleed movement, but early fights all the way through to the end, fights that deliver. This is not just a card filler.
No, look, you've got people at all different levels and standards, and I think Ginty's fresh off a loss, but it was a good loss. It did a lot for him. It made people see he put the mighty JMX on the ground. You know, it was a great shot, and he had some durability, and he was by far the underdog. So you got to give him props. And Ham is the only man to take Salt Pappy to the full distance. You know, and he had a nice big win on Misfits too as well. So it's an interesting one for sure. They're both hungry for it. Ham is cutting a lot of weight, and if he can maintain his strength, it could be a problem for Ginty.
I can't wait, Mams. I can't wait for this fight night.
It's going to be exciting. What else is there? There's other fights on there. What have you not mentioned?
Waleed Sharks and NNA is the opening one. We sort of touched on it with Dean and Waleed, but that fight in itself, I think NNA, I think it's fair to say he's not boxed at the level that Waleed has, not even close, but that in itself makes it a bit of a tricky fight.
I really like both of them. They're really nice kids, and NNA really wanted this fight, and his coach again was absolutely convinced that he can take it. Look, I don't know if you've seen his pad work and stuff. He's much faster. He's tough. He's durable. But Waleed Sharks is possibly the technically best boxer on Misfits. Would you agree that's possible? I think it might be true.
I think so. I think so. If you're looking at who else is up there with him, the people who've played in the pros like Idris and Hassim, you'd have to put them up there. But I think Waleed, given the way he, albeit he came away with a loss against Dean, but the way he handled Dean for a long time showed that he was able to adapt to anything that came forward. I'll join you on that. I'll join you on that sticking out there. Waleed is probably the highest level boxer I've seen on Misfits.
Yeah, he was really good kid as well. Listen, honestly, from my part, the only thing that sucks for me, even when KSI and Temper fought, I'm fond of most of these guys. So KSI knocks him out. I'm like, yes. Then I look at Temper on the floor and I'm like, God, I feel for him. So that's the hardest part of this job. The matchmaking is bloody near impossible with all the factors I've talked about that till I've been blue in the face. But that part for me, where there's a loser and a winner and the emotions they go through, it's always tough for me because I understand what that's going to be like for the next few weeks and for the rest of your life. Sometimes you replay that moment in your head and you play how you could have done things different and all that. And then for the winner, you're obviously happy because of the thrill of winning and what the opportunities it brings. But that's the cool thing about Misfits is if you lose, it doesn't mean you're out. It doesn't mean you're going to lose your fan base. It just means you get another chance at redemption. And Deji has been, the poster boy for that. He's done amazingly well for someone who lost 3 in a row, came back with an amazing victory on Misfits, where it all started. And he's one of the top dogs in the space, with 1 victory. Anything's possible. So that's the good thing. That's the good thing about what we do. Fans want to give you another chance, win or lose.
I agree 100%. Mams, just while we've got you, before we let you go, I just want to quickly touch on the DAZN deal. The news is out and about. It's very well documented now about this 5-year deal is underway. How far in advance do you and maybe Nissa and Kala, how far do you guys look now? How do you what's underway for Misfits? I mean, we know about 5, but 6, 7, 8. What any other projects you talked about pro there? How far ahead do you look?
Honestly, like this is really cool for me because it's again music and combat sports are 2 of my biggest passions, and it's similar because even in music, planning, being creative, writing songs, ideas, putting people together, it's a very similar type of thing. I know that there haven't been too many comparisons like that drawn before, but from my experience, it's similar because I'm orchestrating A and Z and C and so on, and get to be creative. So for me, I think looking ahead, I think we're going to have some annual events, which is similar to how WWE has WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. So yes, I think we're going to go Misfits up to DAZN Misfits and DAZN X Series 10 up to 10, and then we do a Misfits and DAZN. You'll see.
Yeah, maybe not a Mania. I'm sure that would be taken.
Not a Mania, but yeah. But I think we'll do some annual events which have some themes to them. And look, we've got the tag team coming. If that's any hint of the direction of some of the fun that's coming. Now, again, there's a place for everyone. We're going to have a pro division, which is starting. It's going to kick off with a massive bang. We're always going to have space for 2 guys two celebrities, which you'll see, for example, there's two celebrities I'm speaking to right now who kind of developed a disdain towards each other, which are not boxers. They're going to learn to box for 6 months and fight each other as a one-off in the ring. Misfits has a place for them. But then we have a place for contenders who want to take it seriously and aren't pros. They're 25, 26 years old, didn't start boxing when they were 3, 4 years old, 5 years old. So they've missed that boat, but they can still catch this one, you know? And I think that's the exciting thing. We've got a little something for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, listen, the news is out. The Telford Takeover is coming. We are live on DAZN, March the 4th. We cannot wait. It all goes off. And you, Mams, please go and get some sleep, man. You've had the busiest week that I can imagine. So go on.
I just want this announcement. Well, yeah, the announcement is out now, isn't it?
As far as yeah, it was, yeah.
It's not really. So in real time, I just can't wait to see people's reactions. We're going to get so much hate. We're going to get so much love, so much excitement. But you can't not fucking laugh at the name of, what's the name?
Pineda Colada.
Pineda Colada. Like Pineda Colada together. That's just amazing.
I mean, can we say the names that I want, the other suggestions, or are we keeping them in the book?
Yeah, go ahead. What was it?
I love the idea of the Mexican and the mullet, but I will definitely bow to Pineda Colada 100 times.
Yeah, the Mexican mullet. I did try to convince Austin Springs and Stromedy to do what's the name? Stromedy, and they said that just makes us sound like a couple. They didn't like it, so they said the Fantastic Two. But we got to get. Hey, I got to check with the commission if it's allowed to fight in. If you're allowed to fight in masks. I wonder if you are. Has anyone ever done that in boxing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Why wouldn't you be able to? It's not really a layer of protection. Just a thin bit of nylon.
I think in case it conceals injury. So a lot of fighters have to shave their beard. It can be requested that a fighter would shave its beard so it doesn't conceal injury.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, it's that, and also because if your beard is really long, it stops the impact of the chin, doesn't it?
Correct. I know that before the Antonio Margarito Manny Pacquiao fight, Freddie Roach spoke about having that beard shaved, and Pacquiao said, no, it allows me to give him more punishment. So maybe.
Right. That's true. All right. Thanks, Chris, as always. I will see you later.
Taylor, thank you very much, my man. We'll speak soon, I'm sure.